You're listening to the Kilcullen Diary Podcasts, stories in sound from a village grown bigger. Hello, I'm Brian Byrne and this is Kilcullen Diary. An exhibition and heritage walk today in Ballyshannon has been an eye-opener to many of the current residents of the village. Through photographs and words, the exhibition traces back through a century and further the local happenings and places. There are detailed reports on the community's origins as the mouth of the ford of Shannon, of former architecture like the now disappeared Ballyshannon House, of the famous international Gordon Bennett race in 1903, which started and finished just down from the crossroads. And there's much about local clubs and organisations still in a generation's memory, all laid out by Ballyshannon Action for National Heritage Week 2022. One gem is a series of interviews with local people on a short reel-to-reel tape made 40 years ago by the local branch of Macra in Thuaithe. The young people asked their elders questions about life, jobs and leisure in their own youth. The tape and the recorder used for the interviews was kept by Joan Dowling, who was part of that Macra group at the time. I asked her for the background.
Because I was a member of the Macra Club at the time, and I do remember doing it. I had mistaken the people who were on it, but I think there might have been another one. But I knew when we got it back from sending it off, and I came across it later, that this was a piece I wanted to keep. So, and I knew basically what was on it, so I kept it, and I kept it in a cupboard in my own house down below, because it was our tape recorder that did the taping. So I just kept it, and I tried it out a few times, tried to use the machine, but I could never get it to work, and I never had the right technology to do it. And now for this, I thought we'll give it another go, and it's been there. It's at least over 40 years old. So I thought we'll give it a go this time, and that's how it happened. I just took it out and we got it digitalised, and that was quite simple. It was just a question of knowing how to use the machine and everything, because it's been gathering dust for years. And that's how it happened. And I do remember the project, and I can't remember the title of the project, but it was going around to the older members of the community and giving them the list of questions, and asking them whatever relevant list of questions we decided, because we used to do wonderful projects at the time, and we were really successful at Macra for Thuaithe Club.
One of the things that I see in the exhibition today is the sheer breadth of groups, organisations, happenings and places that were in Ballyshannon. A lot of people wouldn't know about those today.
No, absolutely not, because now there's not so much that rest, and it was a different time and a different need. So of the time it was a very active little community, and we just want to remember people to know that, because they just go through it and we think we're just kind of nothing. And we have this wealth of history, we have this wealth of people, and we have decided to bring it up, because I knew through anecdotally and through remembering a lot of it, but for now, for people to discover that we do have a wealth of history. We're not just the road that goes to a little place in the middle of nowhere. We have history, and loads of it, and these are all little from up to date, or 40 years or 100 years. We have amounted loads of history, and it's only just the beginning maybe that we're finding and digging it.
And the history is what underpins the community.
And the history is very much what underpins the community, and it just proves how long and how that we have a strong community, and that we have always been a vibrant community according to the time it was in it, to all these things. People would never think that Ballyshannon had so much, but we do, and we did, and long may it continue to have so.
Joan Dowling. The man who helped out by digitising the reel-to-reel tape is James Delaney. He also helped to make it available at the exhibition for people to listen to, and perhaps help to identify some of those interviewed.
There's 6 interviews on it, and they're all asked pretty much the same questions, and the questions are about things like, what age did they go to school, how far was their school, how did they get to school, what changes did they see in the community, what work opportunities were in the community, and different things like that.
When you were digitising, what kind of responses surprised you?
Yeah, it was varied. Some of the people were more, say, forthcoming than others on the tape. One man, which was quite surprising, went to school in India, and just talked about that. So that was interesting.
And these were people living in the locality?
Yeah, so we don't really know who some of them are. We're trying to kind of piece it together, and I mean, maybe people today might come in and listen and recognise the people, but also we'll try to put more detail on it, because there are kind of clues, like Some of them say what age they were born, and some of them you can kind of hear names.
It's amazing what kind of stuff is available in a small community when you go looking for it.
Yeah, it's incredible because, Ballyshannon is just this random crossroads, but when people started digging, there's huge amounts of history to it. The big house across the road, which was destroyed in the Land Commission, had a huge history. There was a cricket team here, there was a dramatic society, there was a whole kind of community around that I wasn't aware of anyway, So it is amazing.
James Delaney on what is perhaps only the beginning of further information about a crossroads community outside Kilcullen that is much more than it seems to be. And just as a taster, a short excerpt from that tape of that man who went to school in India. It's a bit unclear, but he's talking about making his first communion.
There were 3 priests in it, 2 white priests and a colour priest. He was from Ferrygaard, Prince West Africa. So there was up to 40 Catholics, Janses, and they were making their first communion. We all sat down on the floor. They never sat on chairs. They squatted on the floor. They sat on the floor, and they're coming down, and what do you call them? The Darcy priest asked me, the first one in Hindustani, Shifwati Tumbara Tupa, do I speak Hindustani? No, nay. I had to speak English. You see what the way.
I'm Brian Byrne. This is Kilcullen Diary. Thank you for listening.